Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Haynes. I'm an audiobook narrator and teacher of narration.
And I'm Trenton Bennett. I'm also an audiobook narrator.
And we are here to give some advice and ask some important questions for those of you who are new to audiobooks as a professional, those of you who are curious to perhaps later becoming new to audiobooks, those of you who are seasoned in audiobooks, and perhaps we've got some ideas that refresh and stimulate you. Trenton is wonderful with the topics and typically leads these weeks. So I'm going to just ride on his coattails. Trenton, what you got this week?
Sure thing. I have a pretty good learning lesson because I had a colleague reach out to me to help them put together their welcome packet. For those of you who don't know what that is, when you're an audiobook narrator, it's very helpful for you when you start taking on projects to have a document that you give to someone that's a welcome packet and it explains, "Hi, thanks for choosing me. We're going to have a great time. Here's what it's going to look like." And in that document, you explain things like here's what we do and don't record in an audiobook so that they don't have the idea that you're going to read out an appendix unless it's specific to the thing, it's germane to it, or the acknowledgments. Those are some things that typically aren't read in the industry.
Hmm.
You also kind of set up the expectations of, I'm going to record these things, I'm going to deliver it in production quality to you, and I'm going to deliver it when I say I will. And so those are the sorts of conversations that it's much easier than having to write a long email or have a back and forth conversation on the phone if you give them this friendly thing that makes them feel comfortable. But the thing about this is, on the one hand, most, if not all, narrators have some sort of a welcome packet out there. Everybody's written theirs differently. A lot of us look at other colleagues for examples and we model off of it because we share with each other. But there's one common thread when you write your welcome packet. You need to think about the audience that you're serving because there's more than one. So typically, when you work on a project, your rights holder is going to be a publishing company, but it may also be the author. Sometimes we work directly with the author. In either case, when you're writing the things to explain what's going to happen, it's going to sound differently when you're specifically speaking to a publisher who is someone who is trying to get things done on a deadline. They've got a lot of audiobooks in flight. They've done many projects before, so they just want to know you're going to do what you do when you say you're going to do it, and they're going to get it on time. And if anything about that changes, you're going to notify them. And they also, an important piece is they have the lines open for communication. Those are all very professional, simple things that a publisher thinks about. Whereas an author, sometimes they're brand new to audiobooks or they haven't done many, and they're going to need a little bit more reassurance that you understand their project, you are working the very best to give their text the best performance it can have, and they need to feel a little more comfortable that you're in control and you're going to help hold their hand and take care of them throughout the project process. So the language in both of those kind of blends together in a way that still keeps it simple. You're going to simply explain, here's how it works when we work together. Here's what I'm going to give you. Here's what we're going to do in the way of pickups. Here's what we're not going to do in the way of pickups. And at the same time, it's reassuring because you have language in there that says, I'm going to take care of you. I love giving a good performance and I can't wait to get started.
The only thing that I'll add on to that is the the tone that I take with authors is different than the one I take with publishers, because it's about uh, I don't know what's a more acceptable word for pecking order. There are roles basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm with an author, my role is to essentially be like the publisher and say, here's how things have worked. Here is the history of our company. Here are the standards that work the best for us. I'm going to assume that that you coming into this organization are going to trust that that works best. Whereas with a publisher, then they are the ones that say that, and then I say, well, here's what's worked for me. Is that okay for you? and so on and so forth. So that's just the difference there. And it's okay to have different tones for different roles that you're taking on.
Yes, very much so. It's a good point because when you're talking to the publisher and their concerns are a little bit different, they're probably not going to be as bothered by the fact that there's passages in there where you're talking about taking care of people and keeping them comfortable.
Right.
But the author is going to need that.
Hmm.
But either way, it does help define those boundaries because whether you're
Yes.
the publisher or the author, you definitely want to be able to say, okay, when it comes to pickups, it's okay to tell me that I accidentally said mannerism and it should have been modernism. It's not going to be okay to tell me I don't think you were angry enough in your
Right.
rage unless they're doing a directed session with you and they've hired a director and you're doing it, through patch or something like that.
Right.
It's all on you and you have to help them understand this is my area of expertise. This is where I'm performing.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much, Trenton. I am narrator and teacher Matt Haynes,
And I'm Trenton Bennett.
and I hope that our voices in your ears meet again real soon.
Thanks everybody.